Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to talk about PROC SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and it has several advantages when you compare with the base program. So base program is basically combined of the data steps as well as PROC steps. But in PROC SQL, the functionality is combined into a single step. So you don't have to write big statements like in the base program, but here your procedure and programming time and length is significantly less when you compare to the base program. So this is the syntax that is mainly used for the PROC SQL procedure, and you have to remember that you have to maintain this order. So it always start with the PROC SQL statement and end with quit statement, and there are different statements used for different function. For selecting variables, you have to use select statements, and from statements is for selecting a data set. Where statements when you have to express some expression or you have to provide certain conditions. Group by statements when you wanted to make a group based on the particular variables. And having expressions is also similar to where expressions, but it applies to the group variables. And order by statements is very much similar to the PROC sort procedure that is in the base programming. So but you have to maintain the sequence. You cannot write from before select, or you cannot write order by statements before having. It will show some error. So you have to remember the order. The first select statements will come, then from, then where, then group by, then having, and then order by. To remember that, I always try to remember this quote: some French waiters grow healthy oranges. So some stand for select, French stand for from, and waiters you can relate to where, and grow you can relate to the group by, and having you can relate to the healthy, and likewise oranges. So I always try to remember this quote: some French waiters grow healthy oranges. So it will help you during the PROC SQL programming. So I will start with a very basic idea, like if you have a data set that is saved in a particular library, and how you can select all the variables from that data set. So for that, you have to write the PROC SQL. As I told you, it is start with the PROC SQL statement and end with a quit statement. And select, if you are selecting asterisk, that means you are selecting all the variables, all the columns of that data set. And from statements, you are referring to the data set that is saved in a particular library. So when you run this program, you will see that variables will appear in the result section with all the variables name here in all the records. So this is how you can select a variables, all the variables from a data set. And you have to remember that when you are writing these statements, you don't have to write the semicolon. So semicolon is always used at the end of the PROC SQL statements, at the end of the quit statements, and at the end of all these basically statements, not individually. You don't have to write a semicolon here, so it will show error. So you have to write semicolon only at the end. So this is how you can select all the variables. If you wanted to know that what kind of the variables are in your data sets, you can use the feedback option. So feedback option will give you an idea about the variables that are present in your data set. So when you write this program, and you will run this program, you will see that these are the variables that are present in that data set. So this is the feedback options, and this is the way that how you can select all the variables. And suppose if you wanted to select only few variables, not all of them, then in that case you have to write the name of variables. So suppose I am selecting 3 variables, or I am selecting 2 variables here, not 3, and you have to use the same way. You have to start your programming with PROC SQL statements and end with the quit statement, and then you have to write the select statement, and you have to write the name of the column or name of the variables basically, and you have to provide the reference of the existing data set in from statement. So when you will run this program, only two variables will appear. You can see here, right? So this is how you can select a specific variables instead of all variables. And when you wanted to limit your number of observation, so in that case, you can use out observation option. So in that case, suppose I have data sets, SAS help.course, and I wanted to know about only these four variables or four columns. So you have to remember that variables in the PROC SQL is column basically. So I'm selecting four columns here and I'm writing this option. So it will give you the first five observation, and you can see these are the first five observations is coming, but it will give you a warning sign because the statements is early terminated due to out of options here. And the next things is about how to rename a variables in the output. So it's very simple. Like you have to use, a column allies as options here. So as suppose the make I wanted to rename as a manufacturer. So in that case, so make as manufacturer. So this is the renaming of make variable into manufacturer, and comma will separate another variables. So model as a car model. So model variables is now renamed as a car models, and likewise. So this is how you can do the renaming, in select statement itself. And when you will run this program, you will see that the call variables name or column name is changed here. So this is how you can basically rename your variables. And this is how to create a new variable. Suppose if you wanted to create a new variables, how you can do that. So that things that you can do in select statement itself. So for example, I'm multiplying MSRP with 0.5 and creating a new variables as half MSRP. So this is this new variables will be created here, and I'm using this existing variables, and when I will run this program, you will see that a new variables will be created out of that. So this is half MSRP. And suppose if you wanted to keep MSRP variable as well, you have to write MSRP here and then comma, so both will appear like MSRP, and this is the new variables that is created here as half MSRP. So when you will run this program, you will see a new variables is also coming along with the MSRP. So formatting is not done here, and that's why it's appearing like that. So you can do formatting as well, that I will explain, so that your result will appear similar to this. So here you can see number is same, but formatting is different here. So you can control that formatting in select statements as well. So this is how you can refer a previously calculated variables. So suppose if you are creating a new variable here, half MSRP by this, and you wanted to use this new variable, which is basically calculated. So you have to write, the calculated, um, options here, or calculated statement here, and you can refer to the half MSRP. So it will be give you the quarter MSRP. So if you wanted to use the calculated uh, variables which are basically created previously, you have to use calculated option here, otherwise it will not appear. So that is very important to know, that if you are referring to the previous calculated variables, you have to use the calculated options or a statement, you can say, to work. So you can see that now the quarter MSRP is coming, and this is the half MSRP. So this is how you can refer to the previously calculated variables. And how you can control a duplicate row. So suppose we are interested in make variables and wanted to know that what are the different makes or manufacturers are in this data set. So for that, you have to use the distinct options here in your select statement. So if you write distinct, it will give a list of make variables from this data set, and you will see that only the distinct variable will appear. So this is very similar to no dupe key in data step programming. So you can see these are the make from different manufacturer, and it appearing only once actually because I wrote distinct here, so that is very important to understand. And this is how you can label and format your variables. So as I told you, so you can change the formatting and labeling depending upon your requirements. So again, this option you can use in the select statement. So for example, MSRP, I wanted to use this format instead of previous format, and wanted to label as a MSRP new. So you have to provide the format and label options here, and when you will run this program, this formatting and labeling will be changed. So you can see that this formatting $sign is not here, and this label is now changed. So this is how you can basically change the label and format of your variables. And this is how to sort your data. So as I told you, for sorting, we have to use proc sort procedure in base programming, but here we have to use the order by statement. So suppose I have this data set, and you have to remember that we have to always follow the sequence of these statements. So some French waitresses grow healthy oranges. So because we don't have where statements, we don't have group by statements, and but whatever statements is coming, that must follow that sequence. So if I wanted to sort this data set as by name, you can use order by statement. So when you will run this program, you will see that this data set is now ordered in a ascending order by name. So ascending option is by default, and if you wanted to sort your data set based on the descending order, you have to write DESC here, option, desk options. And so if I wanted to sort this data set by age in descending order, so after the variable name, you have to write it. You should not write before, but it's after the variable name. So when you will run this program, this data set will be sorted, a descending order based on the age. So that is also important to understand. And the next topic is how to filter data with where clause. So as I told you, so when you wanted to sort your data, or you wanted to make a subgroup, you can use where statement. So suppose I'm interested in age which are greater than 14, so you can write where statements and you can provide that condition, and this will work here. You can see that only the data set where the age is greater than 14 will appear. That means 15 and 16. And there are different operators that you can use that. So for example, I wanted to use the name which contains a, so you can use this operator contains here. So it will only get the data which has the name contains a. For example, this one, if you I will run this program, you will see, so all the name has a in this their name. So that's why you can do that kind of filtering of your data. And the other operators is between operators. So you can use, like, if you are interested in age which are between 12 and 14, so that means 12, 13 and 14. So in this case, your data will be available for only age 12 to 14. No other data less than 12 or more than 14 will appear here. So that is also important. And you can use like operator. So if any a name where is ending starting with a, so if it is a percentage sign before a, that means the name starting with uppercase A. So when you will run this program, it will retrieve the data where the name is starting with A. So these all are the operators that you can use to filter your data in where clause. So this is very important to know that I am always maintaining the order some French waitresses grow healthy oranges. So that order must follow each and every step. And where versus having clause. So ideally both function in the similar way, but there is a basic difference. So a having clause is like where clause, but applies only a group as a whole, and whereas where clause applies to individual rows. So that is very important to understand. So this is an example I will give you so that it will be much clear to you that where we are using where statements and where we are using having a statement. So you can see that this is a program I'm creating. So this is important that if I'm creating here a table, so you have to write this statement. So for creating a table or new data set, you have to write create table statement. So create table, you have to write the name of the data set, and you have to write as clause here. If you will not write as, it will show some error actually. And you can see there is a no semicolon here, only semicolon at the end of these statements. So that is very important to remember. So here I am filtering my data with type where is equal to SUV. So it will filter the data where type is equal to SUV. So you can see that all the SUV record will appear here. And in the next program here, you can see in the select statements, I'm averaging the average MSRP. So this is I'm doing averaging and group by origin. So I'm grouping my values and doing averaging of this. And I just wanted to filter on a similar way. I wanted to filter out the data where average MSRP is greater than 20,000. So this is very important. We cannot use this conditions in where statements, because this is a grouped clause, or it's grouped variables is applying here. So we cannot use with the where statement. So here we have to use having statement to filter our data. So when I will run this program, you will see that only the average MSRP, which is greater than 20,000, is appear, and the conditions apply successfully here. So that is very important. And if you will write like here where, and if you wanted to use this condition here, it will not work, because it will show some error here. So that is very important, that where you have to use where statement and where you have to use having a statement. So that is very important to remember. And I keep reminding you that we have to maintain the sequence. Some French waitresses grow healthy oranges. So that statements sequence must be maintained throughout the programming. And this is the same, another example here. I have a data set here, that I created here, temp data set. And I have here like 3 variables and 6 records. So you can see that, when where statements will apply here, only the product code is equal to less or 100 will apply first. So for example, in this group, product code is less than or is equal to 100. So this group will select this one because these two values are less than 100. And here only this value will be selected from this group, from this ID, because this is more than 100. So it will be eliminated in this conditions. And after that, this record will be eliminated as well, because of this where statements, and only this value will be appear. So in that case, only we have these two values, and this one and this one. So 4 records. And after that, grouping will happen. So group by ID and after that this condition will apply. So when you will run this program, because this average is less than or equal to 5,000, so its sum will be more than 5,000. So the first ID will be removed, and you can see this is equal to 5,000 and 25,000, so that will appear. So you have to remember that first where conditions will apply, and after that having condition will apply. So this is very important to remember. So these are the some other example you can see, and other conditions I'm not going to show you it again. And you can do so many summarizing data or aggregating data based on similar to the data step, where you can do so much different kind of statistics. So here, for example, if I wanted to count the number, that what different kind of heights are there, average you can calculate of the weight of the weight average, and you can calculate the maximum value of weight, and you can group by sex here. So I'm grouping it by sex, so whatever averaging will be done with based on grouped by the sex. So when I will run this program, you will see the output. So this is the age, and this is the average as I calculated, and this is the maximum value. This is the male, and this is the female. So this is two groups, so you can see that these all values are similar because that is calculated based on the grouping of sex. So this is all grouping together. So similar way you can calculate the counts also. You can see that the counting is 9 for the females and 10 for male. So this is how different kind of the summary statistics basically you can do in PROC SQL as well, in a single step. So next topic is PROC SQL. When you are using multiple conditions or criteria, so you have to use case when statement in PROC SQL instead of if and then statement in base SAS programming. So see, the program is very similar. You have to start with the PROC SQL statements and end with the semicolon, and end with the quit statements, which also end with the semicolon. And after that, you have to follow the same sequence here. You have to use select and from. You have to when you are referring to any previous data set. And these are the select statements where you are basically selecting the name of the columns or name of the variables, and you have to write comma after each variables. So because this case when statements is a part of the select statements, and because you are creating a new variables, you have to write a comma here as well. That is very important to remember that. And when you are writing case statements, so within this it always start with the case and end this statements as end as, and when you are writing the name of the new variable here, so end as category, so that means a new variable category will appear when these conditions will execute, and these are the different steps that will be followed in this program. So this is the first conditions. When age is less than 13, then if you are creating a character variable, you have to put a quotation mark, single quotation mark, uh, you know in these value. And if you are using creating a numeric variable, you don't have to put a quotation mark here. This is the second condition. Again, age is between 13 and 14, then uh, you know you don't have to write here equal sign, or like you do in the base program, but here you have to write then, and directly you have to put the value, and this is the third condition. So few things you have to remember when you are using case when statement. And when you will run this program, these conditions will be execute, and new variable category will be created here. So I'm running this program. You can see that these four variables that I already mentioned, and the category and new variables is created here, and these all values are coming based on the conditions category 1, category 2, or category 3. So this is how you can use case when statements in PROC SQL. And this is the next things is how to create a table similar to the data step. So this is data step based programming where you can create a temporary data set here, and using the input statements you can provide the name of the variables, and using the cards statements, or you can use the um, you can put all the values here in a sequence, and end these values with semicolon and a run statement. So when you will run this program, a new data set will be created here. You can see that temp data sets. So similar things can be done in PROC SQL as well, but here you have to follow few different steps. So for example, it always start with the PROC SQL, and and end with quit statements. And as I told you, you have to write create table statements to create a new table, and in bracket you have to write the name of all the variables here. So suppose, and not only the variables, you have to provide those variables are numeric or characters. So here, like id is a numeric variables, you have to write num, and sale is a numeric variable here, and product code is a numeric. Suppose I wanted to change this one is a character variable, so you can do that too. And you have to use insert statements here, and you have to write again the name of the table. That is very important. So insert into this table temp, and these are the values. So 1 will go to the id, you have to separate it by comma. These value will go to the sale and separated by comma, and these value will go for the product code. So this will be the first observation. For second, the similar, third, fourth, fifth, and likewise. And after that, to create the table you have to use the select statement. So select, and if you are using asterisk, that means you are selecting all the variables that are created in this process. And you have to again write from statements, like this is the table that you created, so that you are referring here. So when you will run this program, the similar way that there is an issue here. So let me see what's the problem. This one do not match. Let me see. Oh, so this is because I'm writing here, this is a numeric, so you have to quote it here like this. So because that is because I changed it to a numeric value, it should be within the quotation mark, otherwise it will show you error. So that's what is happening here. So you have to careful when you are creating a numeric or character variable. So now it will work. So you can see. So this is how you can create a table similar to the data step procedure. And if you are creating a table from an existing table, so that is existing table we have already, temp is created, and you have to use create statement here. So as I already explained you earlier as well, but here I'm listing few important points that you have to remember for your SAS advanced programming exams, certification exam. So when you are creating a table, the same things, you have to write create table statements, you have to write the name of the new table, and you have to use as allies here, and you should not write any kind of semicolon. So semicolon will use only at the end here, and it will end as a quit statement. So this is how you can create a table in PROC SQL. So when I will run this program, a new table will be created here, like new temp. That is how you can do that. And delete table. So this is very important. So drop statement is used for the dropping any table from any library. So suppose I wanted to drop a table, new table, here new temp new. So you can see that this library, and this is the work library. You can see that temp new table is there. So you have to write drop statements, drop table, this one. So, and again it started with the PROC SQL, ending with the quit. So when you will run this program, this table will be deleted. So when you will go and check your work library, you don't see that table in that library. So this is how you can delete a table. And suppose because I have to use that table, so I'm going to again recreate it so that I can use further. So suppose I wanted to delete few rows and observation. So again for that, so delete from, you have to use the delete statement. So I'm going to delete and providing a conditions where product code is greater than 40. So let me see this table first. So here you can see different observations, 6 observations, and I'm putting a conditions here, you know and I'm deleting few rows. So this is how you can delete row actually from an existing table. So when I will run this program, you will see expressions, it has component, and are the different data types. Oh, sorry, though this one is actually in basically I have to use this one. Let me use this one because that is not numeric. That's why it's showing an error. So I'm going to use this data set, so that will be easy to understand, and it will not show any problem. So you can see that a few of the observations is now removed from the temp. So I can show you. So this is the temp table, and only 2 values are coming here because of this condition. So this is how you can delete few rows and delete column. So for that, you can, if you have an existing table here, you can see that, and if you want to drop some variable, you have to use drop options here in create table. So you can specifically drop some variables from this table. So let me show you that how you are going to do that. So let me create this table again, and this is how a new table is created. That is, but this is character value here. That's why my condition is not working here. So but I can use a different condition where id is equal to 2 and 3, maybe, where id is where id product code is not product greater than, where id is equal to, I'm going to use 2 only. So let me see that this is how new table will be created, and you can see that here, new table. So where id is equal to 2 is now deleted based on my condition. And here I'm creating another table, new table, and wanted to drop some variables. So you can see that wanted to drop sale variable here. So that's why you can see this is how you can write in the create table statements that drop this variable, and when you will run this program, you will see that sale variables is now dropped. So you can do so much changes, modifications in your data set. You can create new variables, new tables, you can drop tables, so many functions that can be easily doable in PROC SQL. And when you compare with the base programming, it's less time consuming, and it will take less programming steps basically to complete your program, and it's very useful. So I hope you like my video, and please subscribe my channel, and give your comments if you need any further explanations, or anything new you wanted to know. So thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day. Bye.